Hey, y'all. Okay, so, something that is very crucial to know is when you have dealt with someone, and I don't mean a relationship, I mean anybody, friend, family member, whoever, okay? Not necessarily a relationship. And they have indicated to you through their behavior that they cannot be trusted, okay? You don't need to see that over and over and over again in multiple different scenarios. When you saw it the first time with your own eyes, what else do you need to know that this person is a snake? What else do you need to see? How much more money do you need to lose? How much more disrespect do you need to experience before you get a clue and say, you know what? This individual is a cutthroat. I will never, ever do business with them again. I will never be there for them again. I will never rescue them when they're in a bind again. And this is going to sound backwards, but y'all are just going to have to roll with it because this is true. It's going to be backwards. Okay. When you're dealing with a sick person slash narcissist, for example, the more you do for them, the more they hate you, the more they resent you, the angrier they become. I told you it was going to be backwards. I wasn't kidding. So, in a normal person's brain, normal being the key word, the person's grateful. The person never forgets it. The person says, hey, I remember when you rescued me, when you did such and such for me. I'll never forget that. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. That is a normal response. But when you're dealing with a narcissist who has brain damage, like I've told you before, you cannot expect a normal, appreciative, respectful reaction to the things that you've done for them. That is why I don't go above and beyond for people, because they don't fucking appreciate it. I would rather do for a total stranger. This way, when I do my random acts of kindness, my friend, myself and another friend, we've done this for many years, not just around Christmas. We just do them whenever we can. I would rather do for a total stranger because I will never see you again. You won't have the opportunity to kick me in the face because I did something good for you. You won't have the opportunity. I don't have any expectations or even a thank you. I don't expect anything because, you know, I just, excuse me, I just did it and it wasn't a big deal, and have a good day, and that's it. It's easier for me to do for strangers because you're not going to see them again. Chances of you're never going to see them again. They don't have to plan to destroy you because they won't have the opportunity to destroy you because you did something good for them. So when you look at how illogical that is, that a person gets angrier and angrier and angrier, the more you do for them, the more they don't respect it, they don't appreciate it. And I think because their thought process is so backwards, they, in some ways, I think that they don't think that they deserve it. Especially people who grew up in a toxic home and they were always told, you ain't shit, you ain't never going to amount to shit, you're a big fat zero, you're a loser just like your mother or just like your father or whatever the case is. When somebody gets that ingrained in their head enough times, they start to believe it. Maybe I'm not worthy, maybe I don't deserve it. And that's why you have to go to therapy, and that's why you have to work through that and the whole bit. So, again, a person who's a toxic individual is going to resent and regret everything that resent everything you've done for them, and reduce everything that you've done for them to a minuscule, you've never done anything for me. Okay. Now, the backstory with this. Oh, I'm getting tired. Bear with me, guys. Oh my God. The backstory with this car situation, which isn't resolved, it will be soon, hopefully. As in, we're shutting the door and do what you want with the car because you're so desperate for it anyway. This individual is so desperate for the car, but doesn't have any respect for the car. Has already totaled the car when she had it in her possession. She still has it in her possession. Whatever. Will not come off the title. This shit still continues. Anyway, so my friend had, like I told you, he worked on her house and she never paid him in full. Okay, she never paid him what she agreed to pay him, which was 30, comma, okay, $30,000. Now, how much more money does a person have to rob you for before you get a clue that they don't pay people back? And they hate what you've done for them. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. They're going to take everything you offer. They're a human vacuum cleaner or a human parasite. So they're going to suck everything up that you offer, your time, your money, your vehicle, your home, whatever it is that you want to offer. Oh, baby, they're going to take. Okay? There's three types of people in the world. There's givers, there's takers, and then people who are capable of both. Giving and taking. Many people are freaking takers. Take. And then have the audacity to fix their lips to say, you ain't never did nothing for me. Uh-huh. So anyway, so that was one instant where she robbed him of $30,000, even though he never did nothing for her. Another instance that he was there for her and he should not have been was when she didn't have a vehicle and he let her use his vehicle at the time. And she was supposed to make payments on the vehicle because she was driving it. She was using it for her personal use. She used it for an entire year and only made a few payments. Again, how much do you have to lose before you realize how this person operates? Okay. Start tallying how much money this person has vacuumed out of your pocket while they sat pretty and took advantage of you the entire time. Okay. I don't know I know that he took care of her sons every summer so she could go chasing after men, preferably men who are in relationships or married or have a girlfriend, because like I said, that feeds their ego. Women like her feeds their ego. So she got a free babysitter every summer so she can, yeah. Let's see, what else? So then I'm sure there's been other scenarios that I'm not aware of. He gave her free food because she's insistent on not only destroying her children, but she wants other people's children in the community to move to her house so she can screw them over too. Anyway, and then she had the nerve to say, you don't need to bring food. Oh, yes, he does. Oh, yes, he does. Because you claim you can't afford, which is a bull-faced lie. She's got 3 jobs and she gets money from a house that she rents. So that's like having 4 jobs because you're getting all this income coming in. But she's so broke. That's another sign of a toxic person. You got money slapping you upside your head every month and you broke. Yeah, and I'm the illegitimate daughter of the Pope. Moving right along. So then we have the incident with the vehicle, and she created, well, if, like I said before, the agreement was he's gonna fix the lawnmower for her, and then um, she would release the title, which I want y'all to analyze that. Anybody who doesn't trust you enough, even though you bent over backwards for them, anybody who's going to hold something over your head, you do this and I'll do that, that's your first sign that you need to be really careful of them, unless you have a history of reneging on your end of the bargain. Then you can't really blame them for holding it over your head because you're not reliable. He's always been reliable, so there was no excuse for her to do that. There was no reason for her to do that. She's the one that can't be trusted, but she's going to hold the title over his head. Again, sign of a sick person. So then he fixed, there was nothing wrong with the freaking lawnmower, so she couldn't milk the original reasoning because that was taken off the table because he repaired the lawnmower. So she's supposed to cough up the title. Well, she didn't want to cough up the title. So she came up with some extra bullshit. And she not only rehashed an argument from the week prior, but she brought it into the current week, like I told y'all before. And she blew it so far out of proportion because he scolded her son, and that's her golden child. She's a narcissist, and that's her golden child. Nobody is to discipline him on anything. He is the equivalent of Jesus. He died on the cross for her. In her twisted mind, he's Jesus. Okay? Biggest snake there is, and brags about going to church all the time. I'm trying to tell you something, okay? Your grandma told you, your great grandma told you, find a good man in church or a good woman in church. They must have hit their head and bumped it or something, because that's the last place you want to find somebody. Okay, biggest hypocrites, biggest liars, biggest frauds are in church. Anyway, so fast forward to today, and I said to him, she's still jacking around with the witch call, and she won't release the title. And so I said, he said I should text her, and I said, do not ask her for the title because she's already sitting on her throne like she's a prima donna. Do not ask her for the title. You tell her you need the title. Well, then she didn't respond for the entire night, didn't respond. Initially, I said, well, she's probably at work because she works all the time. And he said, she's not at work. I said, what do you mean? He said, she's on Facebook. Oh, okay. Interesting. He's still under the impression that she's going to calm down from her psychotic episode. She's going to calm down, quotation marks, and give him the title. I said, she is not giving you the title. She's not. She reneged on her initial agreement. I said, how much more dirt does she have to do to you before you realize that she is a cutthroat? How much more does she have to do to you before you realize that she is a rattlesnake of epic proportions? Okay? You gotta wake up, shake the cobwebs out of your head, and tally up all the times this person has treated you like crap. Tally up all the times they came out their neck and screamed and yelled at you in front of everybody on Christmas Day. Tally all the amount of money that she was supposed to pay you for using your goddamn vehicle. Your vehicle. Your vehicle. And she sat her fat ass in your car, driving it for an entire year and only paid a couple of payments on it. So you basically paid for a car that you had no access to. Tally up that amount of payments per year, or for the whole year. And only minus 2 payments because that's all the bitch paid. Okay? And then you turn around and you want to work out a deal with this car when you know goddamn well she's got a history of being a freaking rattlesnake. how much more does she have to kick you in your goddamn face with steel toe boots? And that's exactly what I said to him. Okay? When someone shows you who the hell they are, you need to wake up, get out of Walt Disneyland, and never, as long as you live, you never, ever do anything for this individual again. She and I originally had an agreement before she showed her ass. We had an agreement, kind of like almost nonverbal. If something happened to him, her father, which is my friend, something happened to him, she would tell me. And if something happened to him around me, I would tell her. There's a possibility he's going to have surgery. He has to see a surgeon next week. I'm not telling her shit. You want to play, bitch? Let's go. Because on one hand, you cried when he was in the hospital when he had the tick-borne disease, which is called ehrlichiosis. He went into sepsis, which sepsis can kill you, basically. He went into septic shock. And he had to be admitted to the hospital, and it was a total mess. She was bawling her eyes out because she was so worried. And then within a span of a month and a half, you hate him and never want to see him again, and you're holding the title hostage? You would never, ever learn from me if and when something happens to him. You will never learn from me if he is no longer with us, he dies. You're not going to know shit. So, you're dead to me. Because unlike him, I don't have to be crapped on 100,000 times before I get a goddamn clue that you're a piece of shit. Okay? This is the first and last time that she will bend me over. I blocked her ass on my phone, and I've cut her loose. Okay? And I told him to do the same. You need to block her ass. You need to incapacitate the car so she cannot use it, because that's our money that was put into that goddamn car. She ain't getting no free labor off of me if I have anything to do with it. Okay? So I don't know what's going to happen with that. He's not in a position to remove things from the car because he's jacked up physically at the moment. And I'm pretty positive he's going to have surgery. Anyway, move right along. When someone shows you who the hell they are, believe them the first goddamn time. Okay? The first time. Don't make them humiliate you again. Don't make them steal from you again. Don't make them get freebies off of you again. At the same time, they're getting angrier and angrier and planning to tell you in front of everybody that you ain't never did nothing for them, which they know out of their sick mouth, their sick lying ass mouth, they know that's a lie. They know it's a lie, but it still sounds good. Y'all better start using some common sense, and you better start protecting yourself, because if you don't stand up for something, you will fall for anything, right? And you cut people off and you don't feel bad about it, because your responsibility is to protect yourself. That is your responsibility. No one is going to rescue you. No one is going to swoop in there and say, let me give you the $30,000 that this person reneged on. Let me go ahead and give you that money. Ain't nobody going to do that for you. You got to protect you. And you got to use your brain. Cut them off. Block them on every social media there is. Do not answer the door. Call the cops when they come to your house. You better start putting your goddamn foot down. You better start exerting your power and stop letting people take a dump on you. Stop it. And you don't feel bad about it because you're doing your damn job. Just like you go to work, you don't feel guilty for doing your job, and you don't feel guilty about getting paid. Well, you don't feel guilty about protecting yourself, because it's your responsibility to protect yourself. Y'all take care. Much love.